Hello everyone and welcome to my CS24 channel. I hope everyone is having a wonderful day. Before we begin, please hit the subscribe button and give this video a thumbs up. The Curse of Oak Island. Survey leads to the discovery of a potential treasure-laden shipwreck. On the Curse of Oak Island this week, the team put on their sea legs to investigate the seabed along the island's northern shoreline, and they made a discovery that could point to an ancient shipwreck. The guys diverted their attention away from the money pit this week, if only for a brief moment, as a group of the guys jumped into a boat to look for clues to the Oak Island mystery offshore. And Gary Drayton and Marty Lagina did some good old-fashioned metal detecting on Lot 8, an area that has been largely unexplored. Earlier this season, guys met with experts from CSR Geo Surveys Ltd, who searched Lot 8 with a magnetometer, a device that detects ferrous metals under the surface. They detected a large anomaly underground at the time, but it so far remained unexplored as the guys don't have the permits to dig in that area. Is there a shipwreck off the coast of Oak Island? Last night, the CSR guys were back with expert diver Tony Sampson, and this time, they decided to drag a magnetometer off the back of Tony's boat in the hope of finding ferrous metals, iron, on the seabed that Tony could investigate later. Jack Begley and Charles Barkhouse joined Tony and a CSR representative in the water off the northern shore of Oak Island, and they immediately got a hit of ferrous metals down below. The guys found plenty of targets that will be investigated later, but the most interesting hit came from the nearby Frog Island. This tiny island lies to the north of Oak Island and features a shoal, or an area with shallow water, just off its shoreline. Shoals are notorious for causing shipwrecks, and it was here that the guys got a massive hit for ferrous metals. So large that they suspect it might be a shipwreck. Drilling continued at the Oak Island money pit. Meanwhile, at the money pit, the DH-82 shaft approached the 90-foot mark, the area where the team expects to start finding artifacts. They are drilling right in the epicenter of Robert Dunfield's major excavation from the 1960s, but are becoming convinced that the Californian treasure hunter just missed out on uncovering the treasure. Marty Lagina explained, "I've come to the conclusion, crazy as it sounds, Mr. Dunfield might have dug through the treasure and never seen it." Rick Lagina and Gary uncovered from the spoils a suspected cribbing spike, a pickaxe head, and a whole lot of wood, which is better than nothing, but the guys are now getting pretty desperate to find some treasure. With the winter rapidly closing in, time is running out. So, let's hope they find something good soon. The morning sun cast a hazy glow over Mahone Bay, its silvery waters stretching out like a mirror to the heavens. For years, the Oak Island team had stared at that bay, wondering if the secrets they sought weren't buried in the ground at all, but resting beneath the tide, hidden in the very waters that had carried adventurers, pirates, and perhaps even royal exiles centuries before. On this day, the sonar vessel Seeker slid quietly over the calm surface. Rick and Marty Lagina stood on deck, their eyes glued to the monitor inside the cabin, where a high-resolution 3D survey of the bay was beginning to take shape. For weeks, they had discussed this survey as a kind of Hail Mary. If the money pit continued to resist their efforts, perhaps the true vault of Oak Island treasure had never been buried at all. The hum of machinery filled the air. Survey technician Matt Stackhouse called out, his voice trembling with restrained excitement. "Gentlemen, I think we've got something here." On the screen, jagged contours of rock gave way to a startling outline, an oblong shape, partially buried in the silt, with a protrusion that could only be described as a mast or spar. The team leaned in, jaws slack, as the image sharpened. The unmistakable silhouette of a shipwreck, preserved by time, emerged like a ghost rising from the depths. "Look at that keel line," Marty muttered, his eyes narrowing. "That's no fishing boat." "It's large," Rick added quietly. "Larger than anything that should have been running supplies between the mainland and this island in the 1600s or 1700s. This could be something else entirely." The weight of the moment hung in the air. For generations, legends had swirled about Oak Island. Stories of Templar knights, Spanish galleons, French naval engineers, and even English nobles fleeing with fortunes during times of upheaval. Many of these tales suggested treasure ships had sought shelter in Mahone Bay, unloading their wealth onto the island or sinking with their secrets intact. Could this be one of them? The discovery electrified the team. Craig Tester, ever the engineer, quickly began calculating logistics. If this wreck is where it appears to be, about 300 meters from the shoreline, then currents alone could have deposited cargo onto Oak Island. What if the flood tunnels weren't designed to protect treasure, but to divert attention from what's offshore? Gary Drayton, the metal detecting expert, clapped his hands with a grin. I'll tell you what, mate, this is the real deal. A proper pirate parking spot. You give me a wetsuit and a detector, and I'll be down there faster than you can say, Bobby Dazzler. But as always with Oak Island, the promise of discovery came with caution. Maritime law, preservation rules, and the ever-looming curse meant they couldn't simply dive in recklessly. The team needed permits, professional divers, and marine archaeologists. For Rick, the weight of responsibility pressed hard. This isn't just about us, he told the group later that afternoon as they gathered around the war room table. If this shipwreck contains treasure, or even artifacts tied to the early European presence in the New World, then this is history. We can't bulldoze our way into it. We need to do this the right way. Still, that didn't dampen their enthusiasm. The next day, with sonar data in hand, the team brought in diver and shipwreck historian Dr. Sylvia Markham. Her reputation preceded her. She had uncovered Spanish wrecks in the Caribbean and even worked on the excavation of the Mary Rose in England. After reviewing the scan, her verdict was tantalizing. This vessel is old, she declared, tracing her finger along the screen. The dimensions, the keel, the collapsed decking, all point to a 16th or 17th century construction. What's more, the orientation suggests it wasn't scuttled intentionally. This looks like a wreck caused by grounding or battle damage. Whatever it was carrying may still be inside. Her words set the room ablaze with speculation. Was this the fabled ship of Captain Kidd, said to have hidden his spoils in the region? Could it be a French transport vessel, carrying valuables during the tumultuous days of the Acadian expulsion? Or even something more extraordinary, a Templar craft, carrying sacred relics across the Atlantic? For Rick, one image from the sonar scan stood out above the rest. Nestled in the outline of the hold was a rectangular anomaly, harder than the surrounding wood and sediment. It measured roughly 6 feet by 3, a chest-like shape.